3D printing. So this is something else you've been involved in here. Something else I also am aware of, but know very little about 3D printing in the last few, because I can remember hearing about it. It was definitely been an idea, been around for a couple of years, but it seems like it's starting to get to that sort of early mainstream type of vibes where it's cheap enough and that people can have a 3D printer at home and you can make stuff that is not like terrible. Obviously, when it started out, I think nobody knew how to use it and so on and so forth. So people have been starting out making 3D printable Bitcoin Cash stuff. I've got an example here of a little like phone stand with the BCH logo on using 3D printable things, which is a collection of open source .stl. I assume that's like the .txt file for printable stuff like phone stands, earbud cases, poker chips, guitar plectrums, and so on and so forth. Shout out to Natoshi Sakamoto, who involved in coordinating some of this. But you've been running this. Tell me about 3D printing and Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah, so my last obsession was 3D printing before crypto. And 3D printing, there's been this idea that maybe someday every house is going to have a 3D printer. It's kind of like there was that so much hype back then. Like in 2013, I think was the peak of the hype. Like the stock prices of 3D printing companies were like through the roof. And now they're like 90% down from what they were in 2013. So it was kind of like a huge hype that didn't really materialize. Everyone was saying that 3D printers were going to become as ubiquitous as microwaves or something like that. I don't think that happened, but yeah, there was a really interesting Netflix documentary called "Print the Legend." It's still there on Netflix. You can watch it about 3D printing, and it goes back to like the early companies. Uh, like for example, there was 3D Systems. They were the first people to invent 3D printing in 1981. Chuck Hull, he invented it, and basically it was called stereolithography, which actually is the .stl. That's where it comes from. And I got into 3D printing in the pandemic. So I bought a 3D printer and I basically printed these like face shields, and I'll print also like when you would wear a mask, your ears would hurt a lot. I'll print some of those and distribute them. It was interesting, and I've been improving my CAD skills, where basically you can add the logos on pre-existing files. And having that Bitcoin Cash, I think that's the phone stand that I printed. I didn't have any green filament to do it.